Good evening, everyone. This video is going to be a trading review and support session for March the 1st, 2023. We started out the day with pretty reasonable volume, and we were coming into some news today. Not real significant. We had final manufacturing PMI at 645, a little bit negative. And then we have at 7 o'clock we had ISM manufacturing construction spending and manufacturing prices, which did lead to some volatility. Manufacturing prices being a little bit higher was I think maybe the cause of that initial volatility. So when we opened up this morning, then the markets were down. Let's take a look real quick at the daily on about where we were at. So we did finish down as well, but we were a little bit down, I think, when we first opened up. So continuing kind of on a downward streak. Let's see if we can see it a little bit better on the big picture chart. There it is. Okay, so this is today. And so you can see we were opening, kind of down about right there as we were opening. And then it did pop up initially after the 645 news, and then came back down. So I cheated a little bit this morning and got into the market early, a little bit late because I think I was still talking. So I don't do this very often, but there was oops, I need yellow. So this was a little bit late, maybe. I mean, it had room to come down, but overall the market was trying to come down a little bit earlier, and I would have gotten out. So I did not get out there, even though I think it hit the target. And then I added to it again up here after it's coming in and testing the minute average, and I was out just a little bit after the open. So after the open, I did kind of have a theory on the day, and may have to alter that. I'm thinking that of trading in the direction of the 5 minute, and while that has let me live the last couple of days, the last 2 days I've gotten into a little bit deeper trading than I really want to. So I added to it here. Let's see. So this is one. Added to it here two on kind of on a pretty big rejection bar from the 3 minute moving average, the minute average, and then coming back down underneath the EMA. And sometimes there's volatility this time of morning, and but it didn't quite do it there. Came back up, closed the gap. Right. I let two bars go by, added to it for a third one there, and was out here for a positive trade, for the third positive trade in a row, but a little bit of volatility. And then let's see, this next trade was a little bit easier, right? Short here against that same area, and then out there. I'll let this go, right? Because we were, I was trying not to trade in the before the 645 news, and they ended up kind of getting me anyway. So let's just kind of go through here, right? So here is the, and as you can see, it kind of was bouncing down from the 5 minute moving average, kind of supporting my theory a little bit. Wasn't greatly lined up. Slow flex was still going up. Everything else was kind of okay, and it kind of broke down again under the open and the volume point of control. And so, but it decided to bounce anyway. So this was the trade. I think I'm pretty sure this is what I was in for a while. So there was one entry, and then coming down back from the 5 minute moving average again, and kind of this double top. So call that 2 and 3, right? Trying to get out a little bit early. I am kind of on the wrong side, but I'm still expecting this 5 minute moving average to hold. Comes back up to VWAP. I'm asking VWAP to do its thing. So I then go 4 and even 5, right? Kind of expecting a little bit more downside movement that I did not get. And then ultimately came back up all the way into the EMA band, past the daily bias, and so then I'm into 6 and 7, and as you can see, now I'm going into the 7 o'clock news time frame, which is one of the reasons I'm adding to it to get out earlier. Not going to add to it anymore, even though, I mean, I'm in it. One of the reasons is because I did get selling up here and some continued selling, got some continued selling here, and was coming down, but I did not want to add to it anymore to get out any earlier. Um, and so I did get out. It took kind of right around the news release to get me out, and so ultimately I had, like I said, I had 7 units, and that's not necessarily how I want to do it. So I'm rethinking to kind of summarize here. I'm going to go back and say, it's good to know where the 5-minute moving average is, but you really don't want to necessarily hold it in that direction, causing you to have too many units to be able to get out of this trade. So this would have been, instead of adding here, right, it would have been probably better to either reverse in this time frame, maybe a little bit early, but clearly in this time frame, right? Trust the indicators and write it up so that you are able to get out without holding too many units. So go to watch that. And like I said, at least I didn't chase anything into the EMA band today, but you do have to guard yourself a little bit against having too much of an opinion. So I'm up pretty good at that particular point, not without suffering a little bit of anxiety. So another trade here, rather quick one. Before it gets into the EMA band, didn't chase it anywhere in here. So because now we're in the EMA band, so trying to lay off of those, just be conservative, even if I don't make quite as much money. I did fine today, but just not as efficient as I want to be. And so let's see. I think there was at least one more trade. Yeah, there's one more trade. So ultimately, it is again around the EMA, right? Got some buying coming in, got some buying here, breaking through the EMA, right? Another expansion, an expansion here. So I tried it here, out here, which is my last trade of the morning. And so that was the last trade, up 9.5 points gross. I did trade, I reduced units and traded a little bit more in the afternoon. And on a per original unit basis, I ended up a little over 10 points per original unit size. So just with a few more trades, I believe. And so that was kind of the day's trading. So lesson is, I'm going to try to keep going back to trying to stay out of the EMA band, right? And also paying a little bit more attention around the EMA itself. It's the case if I'm in a trade, and also trying to maybe stay away from a little bit more these news time frames. I thought I had enough time to get out, but right before the news, then maybe there is sometimes less follow through, right? So and that was the case today on that 643-ish kind of a trade. Let's go back and look here, right? Wasn't enough time to follow through. It was just amongst a bunch of stuff, right? And waiting a little bit longer would have been better. So that's kind of my story today. Still, still very profitable, but I want to be more efficient. And so to do that, be a little bit more cautious about not only about where to enter, but when to enter, especially on a news day. And if it's not going your way, to either potentially close, right? If it's not going your way, and you get on the wrong side of the market, right? Usually, you can close and or choose to reverse. Even if you close, right, and donate your profit that you've got so far, it would be easier to maybe get back into a profitable position without carrying a lot of risk in your trading. So I'll be looking at that and trying to control my little finger, my index finger, a little bit more still going forward. All right, so that's going to be it for the trading summary. So have you have a good rest of your evening, and we'll see you in the trading room tomorrow morning.